we're starting at precisely 1 o'clock. And so, call the meeting to order, and if Jeff will lead us in the pledge.
Sure. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you'll call the roll for this.
Okay, Director Davidson,
here.
Director Thomas,
I'm here.
Director Radley.
Here.
I don't see Director Cepeda. We'll probably find a little bit later. And President Underhill.
Here. Okay, we'll go on to item number 2, public comment. I know we do have a couple of members of the public, and they're free to address the board on any non-agendized items. Any public comment?
President Underhill, do you mind if I make a public comment real fast? This is Michael.
Oh, okay.
I just want to introduce our new manager of water resources really quickly, and we don't have anything on the agenda for him, so I thought I would do that in public comment. Brad Arnold is here. He started last Monday, and I'm just really excited to have him here. And we're already hit the ground running. I've already piled a lot onto him, and he's handled it all very well. And yeah, I expect great things. So I just wanted to introduce everybody to Brad Arnold here. And Brad, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, CCWD board members. My name is Brad Arnold, and I recently joined as the new Water Resources Program Manager. As GM Minkler pointed out, I come to the district with experience working on and leading many different type of water supply planning projects, water resources policy efforts, most recently as a senior engineer for the Santa Clara Valley Water District in the Bay Area, but also with the California Department of Water Resources and as a researcher for the UC Davis Center for Watershed Sciences. I hold a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, near where I'm originally from, and I have 2 master's degrees in agricultural and civil water resources engineering, both from UC Davis. I'm really excited to join CCWD, getting back to a more rural setting like where I grew up, and I look forward to using my knowledge and experience to learn about the district and to work with GM Minkler, the Calaveras County ratepayers, and you all on the board. Thank you.
And we welcome you, Brad, and for those of us who are still in absentia, we will be catching up with you very, very soon. Welcome to CCWD.
Yes, thank you.
Brad, my name is Russ Thomas. I look forward to an opportunity to see what you really look like. Because I'm sure I won't be able to recognize you next time. But welcome aboard. I think you're a little light on qualifications, but we'll see.
That
That was pretty impressive. Thanks for coming to help us. Proceed.
Any other comments?
Public comment. Bertha, we're on public comment.
Okay.
Well, hold on. We have one coming to the podium.
Hi, my name is Eric Glanville. I've spoken to the board a few times in the past in regards to the district's policy of the water and wastewater disconnect policy that the board has. And I was hoping that it would be on the agenda today, but I see that it isn't. I'm sure that if some of the staff members were paying the $325 fee every other month for basically nothing, that it would have been on the agenda by now. But unfortunately, it is not on the agenda today. And it's on the agenda to maybe even postpone the next meeting. So hopefully the item will be on the following meeting of this disconnect policy. A few minutes ago. What's that?
It's nothing to do with you.
Okay. I just spoke with Joel a few minutes ago out front. He said that staff was having, they were working on the issue, and they almost had it complete, but it wasn't quite ready for today. But he said that they were going to move forward with the applications that were in process because of the board's adamant recommendation that this policy was fixed, because actually the way the policy is written is fine. It's just the way it's been implemented, which has created a hardship on those, a financial hardship on those wishing to disconnect. But Joel has, unfortunately Joel is leaving, but hopefully it will be passed on to the next person so that this can be taken care of, because this is creating a financial hardship on these folks that are paying this fee every other month. And it's just dragging on. They're getting madder and madder because they were supposedly going to have a policy that was to eliminate their financial hardship. But hopefully, if what Joel is telling me is true, those people will be able to proceed, because the policy as written is fine. It's just the way it was implemented. So hopefully if the board might give them a little bit more direction to, yes, go ahead with the existing policy and get these applications taken care of with just a fee for the application, which most of them are already paid, and then a fee to remove the water meter, leave the sewer laterals as is, because they've been fine for years, and then let these people move on with their lives. So, thank you very much.
So
you,
we
Eric.
can't provide much of a response because it's not agendized. I do
Right.
want to thank you, though, for being here. I apologize we didn't get the information to you further in advance that it wouldn't be on the agenda today. But I can certainly assure you that we have been working on it. We think there are some changes that need to be made to the policy, but we'll be following up with the applicants in the near future to see what we can do between now and the next board meeting.
All right.
And then we'll be bringing something back to the board at the next board meeting.
Sure. Like I mentioned, I'm sure that if staff was paying this fee every other month, it would have been taken care of by now. But hey, that's great if you're going to take care of these folks to get them out of this financial hardship, because all it's doing right now is they're just getting madder and madder at the district. They don't need it.
We heard you.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Do we have any further public comments? Hearing none, we'll go on to item number 3, which is the consent agenda. 3A, 3B, and 3C. I might have a motion to approve.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
Yes.
Director Betterman?
Yes.
President Underhill?
Yes. Okay. Item number 4, we open it to public hearing. Item 4A is the discussion action regarding the adoption of the fiscal year 2021 operating and capital improvement plan budget. And another part of 4A is the discussion action regarding the adoption of the fiscal year 2021 personnel allocation budget. And both of those belong to Rebecca County.
Hello, board. So we included in the packet of all of the schedules, same as what we went over at the last budget hearings. We identified some changes that needed to occur, which we explained all of those in the staff report to you. So there's not the main kind of material change that we did is increase the carryover balance from 450,000 to 500,000. And we did have some material adjustments that we needed to make in the water resources budget, which the general manager and water resources manager got together as soon as he started to go through and identify if there was any potential shortfalls in the upcoming year, and we did identify a few. So that's all detailed in the staff report. Is there any questions?
Any board questions?
Is our whole board here? Do we know? Is Cindy here?
Cindy's not.
I'd like to make a motion, we go ahead and adopt the fiscal year 2021 operating capital improvement program budget and the personnel allocation resolution for fiscal year 2021. We spent quite a bit of time in our last meeting going through this, and I think it's appropriate since we've probably had a whole lot of discussion on this item at this point. So I make a motion that we adopt both of those.
I will second
Do I
that.
hear a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, I'm going to ask for public comment. Hearing no public comment, Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
Yes.
Director Rattleman?
I'm just curious, do we have to close the public hearing and then vote?
No, not yet. Don't we?
Yeah, I think you closed the public hearing and then,
So we need to, I think what we need to do is
Yeah.
first vote to close the hearing, public hearing, and then vote. Correct me if I'm wrong, but,
Mr. Matt, go ahead, yes.
okay.
You hear me?
Can I make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second that.
We are opening and closing the public comment. The
Public-
public hearing.
Correct, correct.
Yes.
And then we take the vote.
Do we need to make the motion?
Or restate the motion.
Restate the motion? Let's just do it anyway. Scott, restate the motion.
Okay, I'm going, hang on one second, let me get back here. Okay, make a motion that we adopt the fiscal year 2021 operating and capital improvement program budget, and at the same time, adopt the personnel allocation resolution for fiscal year 2021 as outlined.
And I want to repeat my second of the motion.
Okay?
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
Yes?
Director Rattleman?
Yes.
And President Underhill?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay? So, I'm closing the public hearing. Okay, we're on to, item 5. 5A, discussion action regarding approval to extend the current MOU with Service Employees International Union Local 1021. Stacy?
so President Underhill, I'll take this one, but Stacy is here in case we have questions that come up. And it'd probably be useful at this point to kind of give an overview of the next 3 items and explain why we're taking them separately. The first item is just an extension of the existing contract that covers the next fiscal year, which is the same thing that we did a couple of meetings ago for the management confidential unit. We felt like we wanted to adopt that separately in a separate motion so that we have the clean extension that both sides had agreed to. So it's a 1-year extension, no change in the terms of the MOU, and no COLA. And that is what's before the board under 5A. But then just to explain why we have side letters on 5B, the side letters in 5B will amend the agreements with both bargaining units to add, basically to match, so that we're matching up the personnel allocation with the budget that we just adopted. So this is how we're implementing the changes that we have outlined in the budget. So but the first item is just the approval of the 1-year extension of the existing MOU with SEIU.
Okay. Do I have an approval, a motion?
That's the extent of the report?
Yes, for that item,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Yeah, I'll move for acceptance of 5A.
I would like to second that motion.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Public comment?
Public comment, excuse me. Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
Yes.
Director Bretterman?
Jeff has joined the meeting.
And President Underhill?
Yes. Okay, so then we'll go on to 5B.
Okay, so 5B, like I said, it lays out the changes the personnel staffing changes that we made and the changes we made to the org chart, essentially. These are all things that were incorporated in the proposed budget, but the changes that need to be made to the MOUs are what's before the board right here. So this creates a construction maintenance manager position. It creates an engineering coordinator position. It consolidates the accounting technician classification down to 2 ranges, and the accountant classification down to 2 ranges as well. And so these are changes management team has spent a lot of time working on and deliberating about what the best use of our staffing resources are. And we've also been meeting with the union and both bargaining units on these changes as well. And this is the result of many months, and staff will probably tell you sometimes maddening changes of direction on my part, trying to make sure we've contemplated all the different scenarios, and that we've arrived at what we believe is truly the best use of the district resources. And I think that's where we are. I'm really happy about where we ended up. I'm really excited about the changes to the organization that we're making. I think I mentioned in the staff report that we had an eye on improved customer experience and customer service in all of these changes. And I think that we're going to see that this is going to pay dividends on that front. So those are, there's significantly more detail in the staff report, but happy to take questions for the board or walk through it in more detail if you'd like.
I'll move for acceptance of 5B.
Second.
Okay. Any public comment? Hearing none, Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
Yes.
Director Bretterman?
Yes.
President Underhill?
Yes. Okay, we're clipping along and we go on to item 5C, discussion direction on discharging Lehman Brothers outstanding balances. Rebecca.
So this is really a cleanup item that we've kind of talked about at the finance committee quite a bit. It doesn't,
Rebecca, hold on a second.
yeah.
Did we miss one?
Has left the meeting.
Yeah, so we have to do the 5B part 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sorry about that. Bertha, we missed the second section of that. What resolution would
okay.
it be?
Sorry, I thought those were both part of the same motion, but we
Well,
can,
there's 2 resolutions. And I
yeah,
know
we can
just
adopt
passed
them
the
as
one,
separate
so-
resos.
There were 2 resolutions.
Yeah.
He made a motion for the 5B.
Well, there is no 5C, or there is, but if it covers both of them, I'm content with that, but I don't know if we... Matt, did we do that right?
I'm trying to look,
There's 2 separate resolutions here.
Yeah.
you're right, in your motion, Rebecca was for 5B for both, or did he, I don't know,
Yeah.
mention both?
He made a motion for 5B.
That's fine.
Oh, great.
But there's 2 separate resolutions. Okay, all right, sorry about that, I didn't mean to,
I was thinking this.
it didn't seem quite. Apologize.
No worries.
Hi,
So,
everyone, Cindy here. Sorry, I forgot. I got sidetracked, but I'm here now, sorry. You did say you forgot, Cindy? I got busy. Okay, sorry. We're under item 5B. I see that, under new business. And so, does approval of 5B then,
No.
Rebecca, allow you to give different resolution numbers, or how is that gonna work?
No, I think we're good there. We're on 5C now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, you ready?
Sorry.
Okay.
Now,
So this is discharging the Lehman Brothers outstanding balances and asset reporting that we do on a monthly basis on the investment report. It doesn't waive the fact that we still may continue to get payments through the bankruptcy of the remaining asset value out there. It's just, it may or may not continue. It just depends on if there continues to have asset value out there. So this is just really a cleanup item to get it cleaned off of our general ledger, pull it off of our investment report that we give to the board. So we're stating true asset value. And so I gave an example of what the current investment activity that we report out to the board looks like with the Lehman Brothers, and then what the revised investment activity report to the board would look like. And so it's really just a cleanup, and so we're just looking to discharge that last amount so we can just get our general ledger and our financial reports cleaned.
Okay, I think that,
Any, director comments?
yes, Bertha, I'd like to jump in here. This is Russ. I'm probably the person who has brought this up most often, that I'd like to see it off the agenda, so I would be pleased to make the motion to approve this direction. We want to discharge the Lehman Brothers outstanding balances, and it only, the only amount that we're likely to receive in the future is $15,000. So
Yes, that's correct.
anyway, that's my motion. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Russ, but you're competing with a helicopter?
Oh,
that's not good news.
yeah.
Well, I'll second your motion. Can't seem to find that.
Okay, any public comment? Hearing none. Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Director Davidson?
Yes?
Director Thomas?
Yes.
Director Retterman?
Yes.
Director Cicada?
Yes.
President Underhill?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Item 5D, discussion action regarding Ebbets Pass Reach 1 Water Pipeline Replacement Project, Charles Palmer.
Good afternoon. So this item, again, it is cleanup, a little bit of cleanup on our contract award for the Ebbets Pass Reach 1 project. According to our policy, we're supposed to establish a contingency at the time of contract award, and that was not done, so I'm bringing this item back to the board to add a contingency, so full board consideration and approval. So, I can go through the list of different change orders to date if you'd like. You know, that's the project is probably about 75% complete, and you know, I do expect that we'll be seeing some credits back on some items as well. So this is probably not the final numbers. Probably it might be actually less than this. So, but the contingency just allows the general manager to make necessary adjustments to the contractor during the course of construction, either items that unforeseen extra work or items that were determined to be beneficial to the project. So, were there any questions?
I had a question, Charles. Why would the Caltrans permit fee be considered part of a change order? Wouldn't that have been established in the beginning?
Though that fee it's sort of an unknown. You have a basic Caltrans fee, you can calculate that one, but as far as, it's more of a time for their personnel to be out on site, and that amount of time they spend on the project can vary quite a bit, so it's really difficult to try to have the contractor estimate those hours. So what we typically do in those kind of fees, same thing we do for the county public works and their encroachment permits, is in the contract, we just say we will reimburse the contractor for those costs. So that way, every contractor is bidding on the same evaluation or amount.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question. Is it typical or normal procedure to not have a 5% contingency, going into the contract? Is it normal? Does CCWD usually do this at the end like this?
I think sometimes we have brought items back to the board when there's been significant changes to the contract. In the case of Reach 3A, we actually, the net result at the end of the project were, I think, 0 change orders or at the end of the project. So I think it's something that we have not been practicing in the past, but something that we probably just want to automatically include in contracts so that, when the general manager or engineering department or collectively staff is making a decision, that we have the board's authorization to do so.
I think that I understand where Cindy's coming from. Do we plan for, say, 5% contingency? But I don't know that we want to put in every contract that there's an automatic and staff can rubber stamp a 5% contingency. When particularly we're talking about 6.7 million or something, that's a pretty good chunk of money that the board won't have an opportunity to critique if we give you guys, previous authority. Yeah. I'm not saying we shouldn't budget for it, but I don't want it to be written in our contracts where, our contractors realize that, hey, we've got another 5% right off the bat.
I don't think that that's something we would advertise to the contractor, but...
No, I'm just saying we can budget for it. It doesn't have to be in our contracts.
Right. I think it's an issue of just, being in compliance with policy. I typically haven't done it in the past because, the amounts are, I'm not as concerned when it's within the general manager's authorization limit. And, so this one's going over the authorization limit. So, when we start to get up into those higher dollar amounts, then, I definitely feel like that we need to come to the board to just clear the air and put everything out on the table, so. I think that the benefit of giving a 5% contingency, it doesn't have to be 5%, could be vary depending on the contract amount. You're right, this is a very large contract, so maybe 5% is a little bit more than we would want to establish for that. But it does provide some, flexibility for management to make necessary decisions without necessarily having to burden the board, at every juncture. So,
yeah.
Charles, I have some questions about this list too. That P007 talks about changing from an 8-inch pipe to a 12-inch pipe for about 973 feet of pipe. Can you give me an explanation about why that was necessary? Why wasn't it designed in the beginning to have 12?
Yeah, that's the section below Forest Meadows, and so there was some consideration that it could be beneficial for future planning for that line
That's
to
to
be
serve,
extended further down the hill, to maybe serve Murphy's or,
yeah.
so it's a matter of, everybody's kind of on the flume up there. And if the flume,
So the-
That's mine.
and if the flume goes down, then this is, so I think this could turn into a viable project for the Murphys to do an intertie into our system for emergency.
At which point, we would try to recover the cost of upsizing the pipe, so we'll track that. But the
Okay.
cost of upsizing it now versus having to go back in, it was a very small cost now for a potentially significant benefit.
Yeah, I remember now that we discussed this before, that only for 22,000 we could upgrade. But the next item talks about additional 12-inch gate valves. Were those 8-inch, 12-inch valves installed within the length of 973 feet?
No. Yeah, so that's where, they're, I think, a little, in retrospect, better coordination between operations and engineering. So this has kind of resulted from kind of a miscommunication between operations and engineering on them just wanting more gate valves in the line. So we ended up adding 8 additional gate valves along the length of the line at the request of operations.
Is that on the whole $6 million worth of pipeline, or just that?
That's along the whole length, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So, if there were previously specified 6-inch gate or 8-inch gate valves on that 973, I can see why, we want to, obviously you can't have an 8-inch valve in a 12-inch line, but would we have gotten a credit for the 8-inch valves that?
Yes,
that were
correct.
replaced?
We
Okay.
would have, yeah.
Okay, that's all I had.
Joe, I just have a question, and every time something like this comes up, and we've gone through years of change orders and how they were not identified, or, they weren't, the plans were not good enough, and so we had change orders, but every one of these has been thoroughly inspected, or you've analyzed, and all of these are legitimate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like the, I think the, where is it? So there's one in here, yeah, this P010 for the PRVs to the water services, so, I mean, we went around and back and forth with, Castle, our consultant, myself, Jared, Mazingo, about that. I mean, that one, at one point, that one was up to like $80,000. And, so, yeah, so we whittled it back down to, and came up with some practical choices. So, yeah, we scour through each of these to make sure, there's not any other options and that we're making the best decisions.
Yeah.
So I have another question or comment. So these change orders have already taken place, correct?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix. So there's some that have taken place. There's some that are comprehensive over the project. So, they might be 60 or 75% expended, and there's still some part that hasn't been expended. Or there's some work that, like P010, that work hasn't been done yet. And so some of these items have not been done yet, but a good majority of them have. So it's kind of a mix.
Okay.
I'll move for acceptance. I'll move for acceptance of 5D.
Do you have a second? I'll second Okay. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, will you call the roll, please?
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
I'm not going to approve of this or vote for it because it reads here that we are approving contingencies up to 5%, which leaves another approximately $200,000 that could be approved without them coming back to the board, and I'm not in favor of that. So, anyway.
Director Reddick?
Okay.
Director Redderman?
Yes.
Director Cicada?
I'm going to say no, just because I don't like that it's come to us after the fact. I think there should be a contingency in all the projects regardless. I'm not real comfortable with it, so no.
And President Underhill?
Yes.
Maybe what you could do is come back and explain to the board the policy as it exists and the difference between what we budget for and then what we write in our contracts, because they are different things, and I think the board needs an explanation of how that goes on. But I agree with Russ, the 5% is, particularly the contract of this size, it's something, I kind of didn't catch that, but, my vote still stands, but I think you guys understand that we want to see these overrides, particularly if they're at the 5% level, then, that can be pretty excessive.
Yeah.
And that somebody did something wrong. If they stagger, if they're always at 5%, that's a problem.
Yeah. That's more like just a very common number that is used across the board, and yeah, there's certain, I understand there's a certain comfort level when you have a $6 million contract that, that does add up to a lot of dollars.
Well,
But yeah, we will be clarifying this in, on all our future contracts, so that'll be written into the memos and,
We'll clarify it.
This is not a new contract, right?
No.
This is just this is our housekeeping, not a new agreement with Mosaic.
That's right.
yeah, existing contract.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll clarify that further in advance. I understand the board's comments, and just we'll make sure, we'll come back to if there's anything that comes, any additional significant change orders, we'll report back to the board on that. So it wouldn't be, a blank check. We'll make sure we update the board on that.
Charles,
And I'd like to make sure that Cindy is thoroughly, educated on how CCWD is doing or handles contingency, because that's obviously not something that she has heard before.
Right, and it's a little hard for me to hear everybody but you, Bertha. But just the practice that I've been part of, we always put a contingency in here. So I believe that I may have heard that it's not a practice to do so at CCWD, but going forward, you may change it. Is that the way I heard that?
No, it is written into policy, and it just in approval of the contracts, we have not put forward a specific contingency amount, although, our budgets do have contingencies built into them, but that's not exactly what our policy says, so.
if I could weigh in on that, it very well may be a usual expectation that on any project that there might be as much as 5% cost or the contractor would apply for 5% more than his contract amounts to. But there is also a usual and customary thought in management theory that a task will automatically expand to the size, to the definition of the project. So if you write a contract that puts in it that the district will approve up to a 5% contingency increase, you can guarantee that it'll be 4.9% 5% on the
Yeah, I mean,
accruing.
we would never tell the contractor they can, oh yeah, you got 5%, whatever, whatever you think the project needs, add on. No, we won't do anything like that.
Yeah, and just to clarify that
Plus,
point.
these are all staff-driven changes, aren't they?
Many of them are, yeah.
Yeah, and just to clarify on that point, because that came up a couple of times, we would never put that in the contract. That would be a budget approval limit for staff, but we'll do everything we can to keep the cost as low as possible.
All right.
I have another question or comment then. So when this contract was awarded, there was no contingency in our budget for things like this? So like, where is the funds coming from right now for approval of this contingency?
Yeah, there is contingency built into the budget, but our policy specific says at the time of the award of the construction contract, you have to specify a contingency in order for the general manager and staff to be able to utilize it. So, so it was in the budget, the contract did not specify a specific contingency associated with that contract, specifically for change orders. Yeah.
This was a project that the engineer's estimate was about three and a half,
I've got a lot of feedback, so
with the contingency.
I could talk offline with somebody.
And I might, at this point, because there's a lot of questions on this, so at this point, I might recommend a discussion item to bring this back to the Finance Committee to review this policy.
That would be nice.
Okay.
Any idea who's making noise?
Okay, so, well, thank you, appreciate
All
it.
right, thank you. You're on, Bertha.
I have to,
We lost her, I think. Hmm?
President Underhill?
Must have been the helicopter.
I hope we're not having a fire.
She's probably making a passionate speech about Joel right now.
It wouldn't-
President Underhill, can you hear us? Because we can't hear you.
Click your mic 2 times.
okay,
Blink. There you go. We can hear you now. Or could.
and I'm connected. Uh-oh, sorry.
We can hear you. It sounded a little broken up, but we can hear you there.
Okay, well, I don't see anything, but,
Can we take a quick break?
okay, well,
Do we need to take a break, Bertha, so you can get squared away, or?
okay, where do we do that? Take 5 or 6?
6.
All right. Thank you.
Well, Bertha, do you have a printed copy of the board packet? Because you wouldn't have to see her, then we could just use that. Then she just.
Okay.
We're ready now, Bertha.
Yes.
All right, item 5E, and I hope Joe is still with us.
Couple more hours.
For now.
Because we're just so proud to, Michael, read a resolution of appreciation for Joel Metzger.
Yeah, so this is obviously an item that brings us no joy, but very grateful for the work Joel's done for the district, and we certainly wish him well, and we'll be working closely with him in his next position. So it's similar, I guess it feels a little bit like when I left Utica. I said I'll be just down the street and I'll be in touch. So I'm going to hand off the resolution to Stacy, though.
Okay. I am going to read a resolution from the Board of Directors recognizing Joel Metzger for his service. It is resolution number 2020-50. The board has approved a resolution going to approve a resolution whereas Joel has faithfully served the board and ratepayers of the Calaveras County District for the past 6 years as the External Affairs Manager, Public Information Officer, and Customer Service Manager. And whereas over the past 6 years, Joel has worked on improving the district's image to the public through attending and participating in town hall meetings, community organization functions, Calaveras County school activities, and more to the betterment of the district. Whereas Joel was a key player in updating the district's website into a user-friendly format, as well as creating a Facebook and Twitter page to better inform our customers in this digital age. And whereas Joel worked tirelessly with the district's management team and the board of directors to educate the community on the 5-year rate increase, which went into effect fiscal year 2018-2019. And whereas Joel balanced customer interests with the needs of the district and the spirit of coming to an amicable conclusion, such as the Customer Assistance Program, helping over 300 CCWD customers. And whereas Joel successfully managed the district's scholarship program, providing thousands of dollars to our local students. And whereas Joel maintained highly effective and prompt communication and correspondence with multiple representatives from different grant agencies and made significant contributions while teaming with engineering staff in preparing the applications, including the recently awarded $2.8 million grant for the Ebbets Pass Redwood Tank Hazard Mitigation Project. And whereas Joel was known for his passion for hiking, camping, photography, and bringing the office a flat of beautiful, fresh farm-picked vegetables from the Metzger farms every now and then. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the Calaveras County Water District and all co-workers hereby wishes Joel the best of luck in his new position and success as he furthers his career.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
I'll second that.
Close enough. Ask for public comment, Bertha.
Well, before we take roll call, I'd like to chime in on my appreciation of Joel's hard work, and it's been a great pleasure working with you, Joel, and very much would like to wish you luck in your career as well as your next position. Congratulations.
Can I go next?
You're in charge.
You can hear me, Joel?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I'm not hesitant at all to convey my thanks and complete respect for an integral member of the CCWD team, Joe Metzger. Joel came to us about 6 years ago with a solid business background. He used this to blend into CCWD's public outreach, compliance, and customer service. He met any challenge at every level, and his presence was lasting and impressive. He used his position to strengthen CCWD's reputation and image in a complete and positive manner through implementation and improvement of business practices and/or policies. I continue to receive excellent comments on how far CCWD has come through Joel's efforts. And one outstanding recommendation or accolade comes from Ebbets Pass Property Owner Council. They love Joel and want him to be at every meeting. I wish UWPA much success through Joel's promotion to general manager, and I want Joel to please be assured that CCWD will continue to be responsive as we are able to request and collaboration with UWPA. Thank you.
Thank you, Bertha.
Hey, let me chime in here. I wish you had time to write me a speech like you did for Bertha. That was really good.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Joel. Good job.
But anyway, Joel, I also want to thank you for your 6 years here. I mean, your general attitude was just fantastic. Always is. The things that you've done for public relations for the district, the grants, the work with staff and the work with the board, I just really appreciate it. A couple things that I think are really stand out is just how you learned very early on how to give shorter reports. I really appreciated you learning how to do that. Also, I want to give you all the credit that I want to give you the entire district's credit for the 5-year rate increase. I want to thank you for taking that responsibility. And in general, I just really wish you all the best in the world. So thank you for helping us here.
Thank you, Jeff.
Cindy,
So we still have to vote.
Cindy, are you going to talk, Cindy?
Yes, Joel, I just want to say that the words spoken and the written words spoken, I just don't think are enough because you are a wonderful employee, a wonderful person. You're going to do really well where you're going, and CCWD is going to miss you. And I just wish you the best in everything that you do. Thank you so much for everything you've done for CCWD.
Okay, people have mentioned his 6-year tenure here with the district. I have the distinct pleasure of having known Joel since he was about 12 years old. It's been such a wonderful thing to see him grow, and I admire the work that he's done for the district and for the county and the larger community. I was hoping that we might delay this vote until the next or the second meeting in July, but I guess we're here. But we're really going to miss you, Joel, and you know how I feel about you. So, you have any public comment?
May I say a couple words, President Underhill?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say, Joel, it was brief, but I really enjoyed working with you. And I think you and I were able to get a lot done together, particularly as we all know, the operations / customer service departments deal with a lot of dynamic situations, and they got to make decisions quickly. And I think you and I were pretty effective in making sure that our customers were satisfied at the end of the day. And so thank you for that.
Hey, Bertha, we need to vote eventually here.
Okay, well, any other comments of any kind? If not.
Let us vote before he starts to talk, because he may start saying something bad if we.
Okay, if I might have a motion?
We already have those, Bertha. We just need, yeah.
So what am I doing?
Call for the vote.
Call for the roll?
Yes.
Call for the vote?
Yes.
Director Davidson?
Yes.
Director Thomas?
Yes.
Director Ratterman?
Yes.
Director Cicada?
Yes.
President Underhill?
Yes.
Now you're on.
Okay. Well, Jeff, in honor and out of respect for you, I'll keep this short. I just want to just let the board know that it's been a distinct pleasure to work for CCWD. I'm extremely grateful to have a job like this in a small county where I want to live and raise my family, and I don't take that for granted, and I never have. And I think we're all very fortunate to work here. And I'm very proud of the progress that we've made over the past 6 years. I certainly haven't gotten everything done that was on the list, but we've certainly made great strides, and there's a lot more exciting times ahead, and I think that this team in place is going to take this district a long way. And I also just wanted to extend my personal thanks to the board members for working so well with me and with staff and supporting this organization. I also wanted to thank Michael and Dave Egerton, being mentors to me and helping me grow personally and professionally, and the entire management team who I've worked with over the years. Really hard-working, dedicated people who I have a great deal of respect for and we're fortunate to have. And then I just also want to extend my thanks to the entire CCWD workforce, because it's all of them out in the field that really make this happen day in, day out, and keep that water on and that sewer flowing. And that's what we're here to serve the public and make sure that they have safe, reliable service. And I'm extremely proud to say that we do that day in and day out, and that will continue. And so I'm proud to be part of this organization. I'm proud to wear a shirt that has a CCWD logo on it. And I'm going to miss working with all of you, and miss my time here. But I am also excited about a new challenge and a new opportunity. And I really do hope to continue working closely with Michael and the CCWD staff and board, not just for individual organizations, but for this community as a whole. And if we don't work together moving forward, we're not going to be successful. So again, my deep and heartfelt thanks to everyone here, and I will miss you all.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Joel. Are we happy?
Yes.
Okay. We'll go on to the general manager's report.
All right, that's tough to follow. But thank you, Joel, for the kind words, and really do, yeah, I think I view it as a next chapter, not the end. So look forward to working with you. I'm going to try to keep it short too. I've got, we've just been really consumed with budget and these staffing changes. Rebecca Callan's done a great job in leading the budget process, as we mentioned last time, and appreciate the board's support on both of those fronts. You may have seen, and Director Thomas brought this to my attention as well, the call that Aqua has put out for water agencies to respond to the water board's survey of costs for COVID-19 response. And I heard from Cindy Tuck on that this morning that the motivation behind Aqua putting that call out was that the water board wasn't getting any response. They sent that out, I think, a month ago as a voluntary survey for water agencies to respond to the water board, and they got very few responses, and so they asked Aqua to reach out to their membership with sort of the carrot being it will help lobbying efforts to bring in more resources to help offset those costs. The stick being if enough agencies don't voluntarily report, we will be required to report. So CCWD will be reporting before July 2nd, I think, is the deadline. And then I got from Rebecca Callan, just to give the board a brief update on what those costs actually are. We're approaching $70,000 in actual costs, expenditures. The vast majority of that we expect to be able to recover from FEMA, but not all of it. And the more troubling part for us is the potential impact to revenue, which we've seen already, a drop-off in consumptive use in the last several months. We suspended late fees for a few months, so there was a financial impact there. And it sort of remains to be seen whether the consumptive usage will bounce back to pre-COVID levels. Hopefully we're on the right track for that. and then, the impacts to finance, to interest rates and to property tax levels, we won't know, it remains to be seen too how those will play out. So we're hoping for the best and preparing for the worst on that front, but we will be participating in that survey. Other than that, we've got, as I have tried to continually report, a lot of construction underway that keeps Damon's crews extra busy and Charles and his department very busy. Reach 1 is progressing and I think they'll be done, hopefully putting the pipe in the ground by the end of July is the hope. And there'll be some additional work after that, but hopefully the major construction will be done at that point. Techite is underway, and KW Emerson is making progress on that project. We're done or nearly done with the service line replacements down in Jenny Lind. I think there's still compaction and paving, but the service lines have all been replaced and we're switched over to the new service lines. I'm sure I'm leaving off a lot of smaller ones, but there's just a lot of work underway that's keeping the crews very busy. Outside of that, we're adding, we'll be seeing some new faces. We've a couple of operators, one distribution operator, one collections operator. We are hiring soon for a treatment plant operator and expect to have interviews for the external affairs manager position in the next few weeks, in addition to the new positions approved today, the construction and maintenance manager and engineering coordinator. So we'll be seeing some new faces. We'll be seeing some retirements as well. So there'll just be I think the normal state of affairs for us for the next few years is going to be turnover. So it's a challenge, but we're aware of it and working hard to prepare for it, and we'll stay on top of it. I think that's all I had for now. Any questions for me?
Hearing no questions, we'll go on to board reports and start with Cindy.
Well, of course you will. Anyhow, I went to IRWM last week. Well, actually, I didn't go. We had a video conference, and we listened to the TUD. They added a project to the IRWM plan. We also approved that, and we also got a little update on that SPIT program, that stormwater prevention identification tool. That's about it.
Okay. Jeff?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, then we'll go to Russ.
All right, Bertha, if you were watching the news last week, you know that I had a fire burning toward my ranch project, and a lot of crazy activity out there with, thank goodness that CAL FIRE team was out there with bulldozers and helicopters and all that kind of stuff. They did put a fire break about 200 yards away from my building pad, which is very much appreciated. So I got one corner of the parcel was scorched a little bit, but the trees are going to survive, and I'm very happy about that. I just wanted to remind some board members that this Aqua virtual conference is coming up on the 29th and 30th. I may be the only person registered. Besides, you're going to.
A couple of staff as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Where will the cocktail reception be held for that?
In your kitchen.
Okay, that's all I have, Bertha.
Okay. Scott?
Just a couple things to report. I was just wondering, are we going to be doing a press release, Michael or Joel, a press release on Brad's addition to our staff?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we like him first, but we're working on that.
Okay, I wanted to recommend that or request that happen. And then number two, we wanted to make it official. That will be the filing date for at the election office in Calaveras County is Monday, July 13th. So that way before our next meeting, I will be filing papers for my speaking. That's all I got.
Okay. All right, and then, okay, it is my pleasure to do the next item. And this has to do with our general manager, Michael Winkler. Can you hear me, Mike? Michael?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I understand that in August you will have a birthday?
Every year.
Pardon?
Every year, yes.
Yeah, and August, what is the date?
August 20th.
August 20th. Well, we're only, what, a month and a half early, but anyway, we decided that it was very opportune time to give you a birthday present, and so Rebecca will hand you an early birthday present from the board.
Wow. I don't know what to say. That's much appreciated. Should I try it on now?
Oh, yeah.
Did you open it already?
Yeah. Oh, it almost doesn't fit. But anyways, for those that can't see it, it says, "I love my boys." So that's awesome.
It goes without saying I had nothing to do.
I know this was your idea. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, God.
Okay, and then I might just chime in that Nico is coming along great with that pipe replacement. Emerson is doing a fantastic job. It doesn't look like those guys take any lunch or any breaks, so they're really going to town. So that's all I have. Information or future agenda items? None? Next board meeting, we're canceling July 8th, so we'll come back on Wednesday, July the 22nd for the regular board meeting. And we'll go into closed session. 9A, conference with real property negotiators, and 9B, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation.
Rebecca, did you send out a closed session common number?
Yes, I did.
Thank you, I'll go find that.
Okay, I have to find it too. So,
We'll see you in about an hour.
13